Stadium on the campus of Oklahoma State for Big 12 women's soccer. Tonight, it's the Red Raiders of Texas Tech facing the 21st ranked team in the country, the Oklahoma State Cowgirls, the defending Big 12 regular season champion. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us, along with former UCLA midfielder Jessica Stamp. I'm Brenda Van Lingen, and these two teams had great starts to their season, but last week they got into the grind of Big 12, each with a tie and a loss. Tonight is going to be so important to see how they respond, how they bounce back from those losses.
Yeah, and probably the pressure's on Texas Tech because it's Friday night and a new $20 million stadium for the defending champions here in Oklahoma State. So it's going to really be Tech's issue to come in here tonight and match the intensity of Oklahoma State.
And if they're going to do that, it's going to be the seniors on these teams. Let's start with Texas Tech. They are led by Jordan Duke.
A talented midfielder who's really the linchpin in the midfield for Texas Tech. She's the one they're going to try and find to connect with those talented forwards up top. Tonight it's Winnie Puente getting the start, as well as Jade King. So she's got to find their feet and find those forwards in behind Oklahoma State's defense.
And for Oklahoma State, Marlo Zoller.
Marlo Zoller is a forward that often gets overlooked because the defending Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year is Haley Woodard up top. So Zoller actually sneaks and gets some space and gets lots of shots off on goal. So they need to be aware of where she is too as well.
Well, the thriving atmosphere here at Neil Patterson Stadium will bring a lot of energy for the defending Big 12 regular season champ. It's Oklahoma State and Texas Tech. Lineups and kickoff coming up next.
Let me show you a special place that's creating degrees of impact through innovations in wind technology and environmental toxicology by advancing the science of biochemistry, agriculture, and water as a local and global leader in the arts. In a place where the passion for athletics is like no other, all in a unique landscape of beauty, culture, heritage, and pride. A place called Texas Tech.
It's a Friday night in Stillwater, Oklahoma. The fans are out at Neil Patterson Stadium, brand new stadium here on the campus of Oklahoma State as we've got Big 12 soccer tonight. Texas Tech comes to town. They are led by Tom Stone, who is in his 12th season. He has led Texas Tech to 5 straight NCAA championship appearances. They won their first Big 12 soccer championship back in 2015. And he will face his good friend. They are good friends with the entire staff of Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State is led by Colin Carmichael in his 14th season as head coach. And 23rd overall Big 12 Coach of the Year in 2017 is Colin Carmichael. Here's a series history. The last 6 meetings between these two decided by one goal. Oklahoma State winning all of those or tied, but always close matches between these two rivals.
Yeah, we mentioned in the open how the parity in this league has just really evolved over the last 5 to 8 years, and Texas Tech winning that Big 12 championship title in 2015 has shown that they're one of those teams that's always going to compete for a title here. So again, facing an Oklahoma State team that's done well once again this year and is on the verge of hopefully another championship for them. But really, it's anyone's game in terms of the championship at this point in the Big 12.
The keeper for Texas Tech, Marissa Zucchetto, in her sophomore year. She started last year as a freshman. Tough transition to Big 12 play, but won the job this year. Really light on her feet, great feet. They play through her. And at keeper for Oklahoma State, number 4, Danny Greenlee, the sophomore.
Yeah, a lot of times you'll see Oklahoma State split their goalkeeper, so you might see Hannah Warner come into this match as well. But Greenlee gets the start tonight, and both those keepers have been doing really well to keep balls out of the net for Oklahoma State.
And we're ready to go here in Stillwater in the red jerseys. Texas Tech on the road. They will be going left to right on your screen. Oklahoma State in their black jerseys. Their head referee is Kyle Phillips tonight. And we talked about this being a new stadium. For the first time, the big video board has the time and score on it for this season. There's still a lot of things being done to the stadium. The press box isn't done yet, but the field is immaculate.
Really exciting for this Oklahoma State program that's been so good for so long. They're got their facilities finally now matching the caliber of the program. And I know Coach Carmichael said that they're just so excited about having this field ready to go this year.
And right away, a corner kick for Texas Tech. Charlotte Teeter to deliver into the penalty area and just wide of the near post. It'll be a goal kick for Danny Greenlee.
Nice back post ball there from Charlotte Teeter, a talented freshman in the midfield that's stepped up really big in her first year here at Texas Tech. So that's something Oklahoma State needs to be aware of, is that height there on that back post.
Texas Tech last weekend tied with Oklahoma 0-0, and then on Sunday lost at Baylor 2-0. Same kind of weekend for Oklahoma State, different level of competition as Oklahoma State tied Texas, at the time ranked in the top 10 in the country, but then came back and lost to Oklahoma in that Bedlam rivalry game.
But really, Coach Carmichael said that that game was kind of unusual. They just couldn't seem to match Oklahoma's intensity. They had already played them once earlier in the year and beat them. So it was kind of an unusual game, but they're looking to bounce back here tonight for sure.
Well, and even Tom Stone, the head coach for Texas Tech, said, I didn't even watch that video because I didn't want to get in my mind what there might be wrong with Oklahoma State, because it's such a unique matchup between Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. He didn't even watch that game.
Yeah.
Texas Tech in the box, coming out to challenge Greenlee, and clearing out of danger, that time the Cowgirls.
That was a nice clear for
all the way running it down in the back third.
But that flurry in the box was something that Coach Carmichael talked about from that game in Oklahoma, was their inability to get the ball out of the 18-yard box. And it just seemed like the ball was hanging around there a little too long. So, again, that looks like a bit of an issue here for Oklahoma State.
And Oklahoma State likes to transition quickly as Wickenheiser at the top of the box. And it's cleared away for the time being. And Texas Tech able to come away with it. As we talked to Colin Carmichael about the styles of play, Oklahoma State willing to sit back and see how patient Texas Tech will be, but when they get a turnover, they want to attack quickly.
Yeah, this is what they want, is a ball turned over like this and then try and go straight back up the field. They're not looking to contain it along the back line. But really, it's Texas Tech that's been the aggressor so far this game, and early chances here in the box. They had a lot of opportunities here in the box and space, so Oklahoma State still struggling just a bit to clear that out of the 18-yard box.
Appeared to be a handball for Texas Tech, so a free kick now for the Cowgirls. Serving ahead.
Put a foot on touch.
Out on the right flank, chasing it down, and it'll be a goal kick. Hannah Webb, the sophomore out of Mansfield, Texas, down the right flank. Just couldn't quite catch up with it.
Katie, in the back. You know what to do here.
They're plastic.
And foul on number 14 for Oklahoma State, Marlo Zoller. These two matched up last year in Lubbock, and Oklahoma State came away with a 1-0 win, and Zoller was the only one that scored in that game.
Yeah, again, the scouting report tends to lean more toward focusing on Haley Woodard up top, and I do remember that game last year where it just seemed like Zoller had a bit more space, a bit more time, because they're sending so many numbers to double team on Woodard, and she was able to get some space and get the game winner in that game last year. So again, someone they're focusing on getting the ball up to quite a bit up top.
You got Jade King. You got Tristan. Good ball. Awesome ball. Cassie, now lock down the counter. Lock down the counter ball.
Teeter out to the left flank. An attempt at the goal and just over. Let's take a look back at last year when these two met. Again, it was Oklahoma State with the 1-goal win.
And in Lubbock here too. So this is Cami Hulston getting some space, and then she just slips Zoller in, and then she just nice curls it into that far post. So this little bit of space was because the Tech players got sucked to that left side, and she was able to create that open space for herself.
And when we talked to Tom Stone, the head coach for Texas Tech, about that game, he said we were in control most of that game. It looked like Oklahoma State wasn't going to be able to score, and then we served them up that opportunity on a silver platter. He also said that that game really was one of the games last year that made he and his staff make a decision to change their style of play somewhat because of the way they were not able to take advantage of Oklahoma State.
Well, keeping the ball is all good and well, but if you can't score, if you can't produce shots from it, then it's not creating any penetration and opportunities. So I think maybe things were a little too lateral. Yeah, they were keeping the ball, and when you have the ball, the other team can't score as much. But if you give it up and you start taking risks, that's when they can expose you, and I think that's what happened last year.
So he thought this would be a real test today to see if those changes that they've made from last year, if they have manifested themselves into something that has made them a better team when competing against the likes of Oklahoma State that won the regular season title last year.
Right, and I think we talked about how similar these teams are from a year ago, and so you're right, these types of changes to try and get over that hump and beat these top-level teams in the Big 12, it is a good test to see if those changes are going to help that happen.
Jostling for the ball, coming away, Jade King, who has been so strong this year, and that is deflected, I believe. No, not deflected. They're saying it will be a goal kick for Oklahoma State.
And this is what you want, is a ball in behind to their speedy forward, Jade King here. Nice touch toward the box and some good defending to put a lot of pressure on her so she can't get a clear shot off.
She leads the Red Raiders in goals scored this year with 6 goals on the season. And there she is again on the right flank. That time stolen away by Oklahoma State.
Knock down, Chase. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Collect yourselves, Red. Organize, Red.
Mama, make it run.
And it'll go the way of the Cowgirls.
Mannequin, show. Another one.
You got it. Get it behind her. You're gone.
Ben Malo.
That's Cassie Hyatt deflecting it out of bounds.
Hey, tight. Hey. One tight and cover. Come on.
No foul, Jane. Nice shot, dude.
Shot deflected. And it'll be a corner kick for Oklahoma State.
So you can see all these red jerseys here swarming the ball in the middle. And then here's the type of shots that Oklahoma State gets. It's just a quick opportunity. They find a little bit of space, and then they rip it on goal. They're going to have a lot of shots. And so the idea is that one of those might get deflected or kind of redirected into the box, and now they have a corner kick.
J.C. Jones serving it into the box over everybody. But Oklahoma State still in control. Jones was injured in that Texas game last Friday and did not play in the loss to Oklahoma.
Awesome, Jane.
She went through a concussion protocol this week and is back out. Julia Lenhart also injured in the Texas game, but she is back as well, number 8.
Guys, other way.
Tangled up. Both players go to the pitch. And it'll be Texas Tech possession. Clock counts down in college women's soccer. As you take a look at that wrestling match again.
Another facet of Zoller's game is she's a physical presence up there. She does like to high press, and she'll battle for the ball up top.
The senior out of Jenks High School in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Organize! Hey, look at the one up here!
Red Raiders out on the left flank. That's Kirsten Davis, the sophomore, who has 3 goals on the year. She lets that one get away. Coming over the halfway line, Oklahoma State with a head of steam between a couple of defenders. That's J.C. Jones. Sends it to the right, and it is deflected. And it will be a corner kick for the Cowgirls.
So penetration up the middle here, and this nice little ball out wide into space. Zoller gets a nice cross in to Woodard, and she's scored a lot of those this past couple of years, Woodard. And so some nice tight defending, which Coach Tom Stone talked about in the box from Texas Tech, was able to deflect that away.
Kim Rodriguez to serve in the corner kick, the header out at the top of the box. A flurry in the box.
Find your players! I don't think you can play soccer.
And Charlotte Teeter able to clear it for the Red Raiders.
Help her! Help her! Help! Help! Can't do that, Houston! You gotta run behind them there, JD! JT! A little bit!
We're able to put our microphones down on the pitch. You could get a lot of clear instruction from the coaches on the sideline. Texas Tech 9-3-1 on the season. They're 1-2-1 in Big 12 play. Oklahoma State 10-2-1 overall. 2-1-1 with that tie and loss coming last week. It just kicked over the top of the crossbar.
So this is why Coach Colin Carmichael likes Davis on that left side, is she can serve balls like this. She played up top a lot last year with Haley Woodard because Jade King would be injured. Up top with Haley Woodard because Zoller might have been out as well. So she's been moved out to this left flank, and it's really worked well for Oklahoma State in terms of getting the ball into Woodard inside the box.
That's a good look at number 23, Woodard, who was All-American third team last year, just the 4th Oklahoma State Cowgirl to earn All-American honors.
Duke, you're playing too small there.
Jessica mentioned earlier, Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year, as well as all Big 12 first team. Very dangerous at the top of the offense for Oklahoma State.
And I asked Coach Carmichael why he decided to move her out wide. And he basically talked about how, and I'm sorry, I think it's Ganser that's on that side, yeah. We have wind up here, Brenda. I don't know if people know that, but we have wind and our papers are moving around. But anyway, it was Ganser that was getting up top there and helping out. So he talked about how she can get up and down the flank and help get the balls into the box to the forwards.
Yes, as I mentioned earlier, immaculate pitch. The surface is beautiful. The experience for the fans, fantastic. But as you can see, the wind is blowing from south to north. And we're set up outside and having a hard time corralling our paperwork up here as we watch the game. But it's a beautiful night in the 80s here in Stillwater.
Awesome zoo.
As Zucchetto serves it out of the goal.
Got it, Jake.
And another turnover for Texas Tech. Here comes Woodard trying to chase it down, not able to get there, and then skids on the turf.
That was the wind there, taking that ball out of bounds fast. So you've got to really be aware of the wind on both sides of the ball and how it's going to affect the ball rolling into space.
Oklahoma State trying to clear it. A good hustle out by Danny Greenlee. You mentioned earlier, sometimes it's Hannah Warner, the freshman, that is in the goal. Danny Greenlee, the sophomore out of Rockwall, Texas, has a career-high 7 saves in a 2-1 loss to Oklahoma. That's when Warner was out. But in talking with Colin Carmichael and trying to decide which goalkeeper deserves more time, neither one of them have played themselves out of the position, so they both get the opportunity.
It's pretty common in the college game nowadays to split time if you have 2 high-quality keepers. So it's not too rare to have keepers that'll split time. They've done that before here too with Oklahoma State.
Up over the top. An opportunity here. Nicely cleared out. And JC Jones with it in the middle of the pitch. And a good tackle by Casey Hyatt to retrieve it for the Red Raiders. That's Wickenheiser.
I don't blame him for missing it, but you got to tell him. And what?
Kirsten Davis still with an opportunity. And then it's stolen away.
No, that is sexist. That is so sexist.
Let's take a look at that earlier tackle, some physical play.
Yeah, JC Jones has been all over the place in the middle of the park. And Coach Stone's upset because of the end of the play with JC Jones there and another no call. But like you said, a physical defensive effort in the midfield by Hyatt tracking back and helping out. And it just seems like Jones is getting a lot of space inside that midfield.
Woodard plays it out to the left side. Yoakum, the freshman who is very highly thought of out of Houston, Texas. That's her in the middle, number 6. There's Ganser, who you referenced earlier, Jessica. And knocked out of bounds by Cassie Hyatt. The throw in for the Cowgirls. And a definite foul there with the push in the back from Jordan Duke. It'll be a free kick opportunity here for the Cowgirls.
Perhaps a little retaliation there from the play before, but now it's giving a set piece opportunity for Oklahoma State, who's very dangerous on set pieces. So you've got to let cool heads prevail sometimes for the benefit of the team. But now JC Jones stands on this ball, and you've got some dangerous weapons in there in the box for Oklahoma State.
Jones. And it really didn't get anywhere that a Red Raider could retrieve it. Pops it up into the air. That's Gwenny Puente, number 19 for Texas Tech. Oklahoma State. This is something they practiced on. When we asked Colin Carmichael what they practice on, he said, when we're in the attacking third of the field, we want to be more aggressive.
This ball. Here it comes.
Hyatt glances off Kirsten Davis.
Jane in the middle, Jane in the middle.
And trickles all the way down to Marissa Zucchetto.
Get across there. Slide over, Jane.
25 minutes to go in the first period here in Stillwater, Oklahoma. Big 12 soccer between a couple of rivals that the coaching staffs know each other extremely well. As we talked to the coaches yesterday, Tom Stone said, you know, this coaching staff at Oklahoma State is one that we spend a lot of time with on the phone, on the road. We get together, there's some socializing between the two staffs, he says, which makes it great, but makes it a little awkward when we play against one another. There's Woodard in traffic. Woodard burst out in front, has an opportunity. Still has it, still controlling. Plays it back. It's still alive for the Cowgirls. And there for the save, the goalkeeper for Texas Tech. But what a burst by Haley Woodard.
Yeah, this shows the speed of Haley Woodard. Getting in behind, just blows by these defenders. Her angle's a little tough, though. This was smart to actually pull it back and lit because her angle was so poor there. And then good effort here by JC Jones, again, to get a nice shot off on goal. So shows you the speed up top and how Woodard can actually create. So she's not going to always take the shot if she's in a little bit of trouble, like she was pulled out left there. So, again, she just needs that help from behind.
As a Cowgirl down as they tend to her situation. You know, as you talk about Haley Woodard, Colin Carmichael said, you know, she's coming off that breakout season. Now she's on everybody's scouting report, and she's had to work hard to get open, but she has done that to her credit. He says she's a better all-around player this year than last.
Yeah, I think sometimes when you're under that kind of pressure, it forces you to be more creative, get better, get faster, because you're getting double teamed and everyone knows about you. But the best players in the world love that kind of pressure and proving those teams wrong. Like, no matter what you can do, you can't stop me. So she has that kind of mentality of no matter what you throw at me, I'm going to keep coming at you. So luckily for her, she has help. She's not the only player up there that can score goals. There's a lot of players around her. Zoller, of course, and then Jones. Yoakum, Grace Yoakum has scored this year as well. So it's not like this team is a one-trick pony and, oh, we've got to find Woodard all day long. It's just that she's dealt with those pressures really well.
But it is Marlo Zoller who has been working well with Woodard up at the top of that defense, who is being helped off the pitch right now. And you can see trying to compose herself, in a lot of pain there. She was the Big 12 Offensive Player of the Week a week ago when it was announced on September 25th, and had a couple of game-winning goals early in Big 12 play. Let's look back as she looks like she turned her ankle.
Really looks bad. I mean, she just lands on her foot there and turns her ankle pretty bad there. So that was Jordan Duke, who she stepped on in the middle, and unlucky, turn her ankle pretty bad.
So we will resume play.
Let's go, run! Let's go, Tech! Come on, Jane!
Zucchetto
Gotta be
out
us!
across the halfway line.
And again.
Save it first, save it first, save it first!
Still in.
Good, Jane. Play, play, play.
Ganser has it stolen away by Lydiot, and stolen right back by Ganser.
Get in there, Gwynny!
Allie Jackson, number 7, onto the pitch for the injured Marlo Zoller. Allie Jackson, the freshman, had to step up when JC and Julia were both injured for Oklahoma State in the Texas game, so she's being called into action here in the first half again. There's Woodard out on the right flank, serves it into the box. And clearing out of danger is Texas Tech. JC Jones plays it back.
The next one. Come, Kimmy. Man on, Kimmy.
Fight over, put it down, put it down. Girl, what a touch, Cassie! Kirsten! That was the only place Charlotte could have kicked
Here's
it.
part of that possession game, and a big part of the strategy for Texas Tech.
There you go.
Good shot, stay there.
The shadows now all the way across the field here at Neil Patterson Stadium. As you can see, the sun back behind us. All the stadium seats are on the west side of the field. A beautiful dorm complex on the east side.
And again. Go short.
Oklahoma State building from the back.
Come on. Charlotte, you can double it. Charlotte, you can double it.
Comes away with it. Woodard with a clear look. Some good footwork. But nobody there. And Texas Tech comes away with it.
Well, lots of red jerseys in the box, and just a sea of red there, and only a couple Oklahoma State players. That's a key for them, is getting those midfielders up to help out those forwards, get more bodies in the box. Because Texas Tech so far has done such a good job of getting behind the ball.
We talked about this being a new stadium, and it was Kim Rodriguez that scored the first goal in the history of this stadium. It was a penalty kick. Rodriguez has 3 goals on the season, but she'll always be known for scoring that first one here at Neil Patterson Stadium. 4,000 fans on hand for that first goal. A great crowd in attendance tonight. There's a Oklahoma State football game tomorrow afternoon against Iowa State. We'll have a feature on Justice Hill, a very special running back for the Cowboys, coming up at halftime. Also a chance to talk to the men's basketball coach, Mike Boynton, who is a big soccer fan and is frequently at the soccer games at cheering on this team, even beating the drum for this team.
That was probably my favorite part about being a college athlete, is supporting all the other teams in the programs. I remember going to the basketball games, the gymnastics meets, the volleyball games, and just all supporting each other and just trying to get everyone to win championships for the school. So really nice to see that they're doing the same thing here at Oklahoma State.
Good.
Rest back here, buddy. Rest back here.
It is fun to see that, as all the various programs and teams supporting each other. As we mentioned, Mike Boynton Jr., the head coach for the men's basketball program in his second year, had a very successful first year, but will be joining us at halftime. Let's talk about that support between the programs. Jones plays it out to the left. It's a foot race. Good defensive effort. It cleared right back to Texas Tech with another opportunity. The top of the 18 there. Oklahoma State able to clear it out of danger to Woodard.
Let's stop. Man on.
And a strong physical play by Cassie Hyatt.
You got it, Jake.
Don't have to play square there, Brookie. Try to play it in the mix. Good job, Brookie.
Cassie Hyatt, just a freshman out of Parker, Colorado for the Red Raiders.
Need the other runner.
Stay with her.
Need the other runner.
Woodard plays it out wide. Julia Lenhart.
Yes, Cassie.
And that one just gets away. Mentioned Lenhart was injured in the game against Texas last Friday, but she came back and played in the Oklahoma game. But they observed her this week to see if she would be ready once again, and she got the start tonight. The junior out of the midfield position.
She really is a staple in that midfield. She started every single game last year for this Oklahoma State team.
so far, do you see an advantage gained by either team?
Well, really, I just thought the momentum was with Texas Tech here to start this match, but Oklahoma State has kind of gained more control and kept it in the middle of the park, gotten a couple more opportunities, and I think that little bit of a storm in the first few minutes they've weathered really well, but they just are struggling with this tough, stingy Texas Tech defense. Hyatt, especially on this right side, has been real tough.
Charging at the goal, plays it into the middle, and just goes off the foot of J.C. Jones. Had an opportunity there in the middle of the area.
And a good look here. Kirsten Davis turning really good with her back to goal. She's a forward, remember, pushed over to this right side now. So she turned with her back to goal, got in behind, and then tried to slide it across to King there to put in.
Tom Stone talks about the fact that Kirsten Davis is the most fit player on the team. She's very unique. You'll see her running the entire game.
That's why he decided to move her back a bit instead of doing a 3-front or putting King or Allie Griffin even on this right side. She's just so fit, able to go box to box, works really hard on that right side.
I don't blame you for trying to take her on, but that was so wide open. Just roll it in there to her. And Kirsten's having a day here. Feed her. Dude, lock her down!
Cassie Boren. Through shot. They're not able to get to the end of that one, and it'll be a goal kick. Good look there at Jane Lydiot, the junior out of Colorado Springs. Danny Greenlee. And a substitution into the game. Number 13, Cammie Huddleston, will be entering for Grace Yoko.
In the game for Cowgirls, number 13, Cammie Huddleston.
Now the substitution is such that if you are taken out in the first half, there's no re-entry in the half. And correct me if I'm wrong here, Jessica, then they come back in the second half, but if they go out in the second half, they can re-enter in the second half.
Right, so Huddleston has actually been in this role before. All last year, she was kind of a super sub coming in at these moments when there is a bit of a lull. It's kind of getting toward the back half of the half. So she's trying to come in and lift the team up a bit, bring some energy for the team. So she was freshman all Big 12 last year, Huddleston, and it was because of that energy and the goals she scored last year as a super sub.
Another sub coming in, number 32
Now into the game for the Red
for
Raiders,
Texas
number
Tech.
32, Jen Rose.
Jen Rose.
The more you do that, the more you work them out. One of these times you're just going to burst through. Just get those arms out here. It's fine. Hey,
Freshman out of Orange, California.
Just try to lift the cross a little bit.
Come on, Haley. Big ball.
Boren plays it back.
16 count.
A lot of times they will play through Zucchetto to reverse the side of the field. And the Cowgirls come away with it. Right back, the Red Raiders. There's Lydiot. Lydiot in traffic, pushing ahead. The nice hustle. We just talked about the fitness of Kirsten Davis. She chases that down to the left side. Davis setting it up. Gets past. Nice defensive play for the Cowgirls. Davis retrieves it. And results in no shot for the Red Raiders. We talked about how fit Kirsten Davis is. Here's a good example.
And mobile. She'll go where she needs to go, make runs like a traditional forward. So she makes this run across the field, picks up the ball on that left flank, and is working on the left side now.
Can I run with you, Jade?
Jade King stifled by the Oklahoma State defense. Coming into the action, Hyatt is thwarted.
Don't let her switch. Haley, go there. Run there. Run there.
Cassie Boren
Hey, Joe.
is going to toss it off to Cassie Hyatt for the throw-in.
Double. Can you double, Jace? Can you double, Jace?
Let her tackle. Why not? Boom. Well done, Cassie. Cassie, good stuff, bud.
Teeter.
Don't go, dude.
They switch sides of the field.
Hey, you count for 32.
Over to Denisick. Jade King being defended physically inside. Changing sides of the pitch once again.
Stay wide. Okay, go inside.
Denisick. A little cross into the box, but chased down by Jordan Duke.
But I like how forward Denisick is getting here on this left side. If Oklahoma State's going to give you that space and allow you to come forward and help, then you might as well take it. So both her and Hyatt.
And a shot on goal, but covering it up nicely. That time is Greenlee.
Nice little ball in here to the box. Again, great turn by Davis on the ball with back to pressure, and then looks for that far post on the shot.
There, Brooke. You can bring that down. Someone tell her.
Go win up. Go help her.
Jane, recover, Jane. There you go. And play. This way. This way. This way. Here, Jen Rose, get out here. Out here, Jen Rose. Watch that.
No score here in the first period between Texas Tech and Oklahoma State. Lydiot at the top of the D pushes out to the left. Shot just over the crossbar. And another substitution coming in for the Cowgirls. This time it's Grace Neville, a freshman from London, England, coming into the game.
Just too much space allowed here at the top of the box. I mean, really, they've got to do a little bit better job. That was Teeter that was just getting loose and just too much space where she could just touch it and rip a shot off on goal. So Oklahoma State struggling a little bit to, one, get behind the ball, and then two, stay tight enough on other players. I think they're doing well on Jade King right now. So usually the faster players, you want to stay really touch tight on them so that they can't get away from you. But there's the other players that are seeming to get into some spaces here and pop off and get loose. So they need to be aware of everybody in and around that box, especially Davis.
In the game for the Red Raiders, number 10, Demi.
Now number 10, Demi Koulazakis, a junior out of Sydney, Australia, coming into the game. She scored 1 goal this year, member of the Australian youth national team. So under 10 minutes to play here in the first period in Stillwater. Still no score. Oklahoma State has already won a couple of games in Big 12 play. They're 2-1-1 in conference play. Texas Tech 1-2-1. Just getting into conference play with the 10 teams that are in the Big 12. They each play each other 1 time. The top 8 teams will qualify for the quarterfinals. Quarterfinals will be in Kansas City the last weekend of October, and then the semifinals and championship will be in Kansas City the first weekend of November. An opportunity, and that one flies tall and over the fence and into the parking lot, where a lot of RVs have gathered for a little tailgating for tomorrow's football game. RV, they opened that up right before the game, and the RVs were just pouring in. We got a little tailgating going already. Hopefully they're enjoying a little women's soccer from their vantage point. In
Pre-game.
Yeah.
Pre-game for the game tomorrow.
College campuses are so great that way, and so much support for the Cowboys and Cowgirls.
Here we go. Try turn it over here. Win this ball.
mentioned, Big 12 play really just getting started. Some teams have played 3, others have 4. West Virginia, the only undefeated team, undefeated and untied at 3-0 at the top of the standings. Right behind them, Oklahoma and Oklahoma State, both 2-1-1. And Baylor and Kansas at 2-1 right behind them. Texas ranked in the top 10 in the country for a time. They're still in the top 25, but they tied this Oklahoma State team last Friday in a very physical match, and then they had their first loss to TCU. So we'll have a chance to see Texas go to West Virginia on Sunday. They played this afternoon at Iowa State. We'll see how they've recovered from that loss. Davis has it stolen away.
You mentioned West Virginia and how they're at the top of the Big 12 standings right now. I mean, they really had dominated this league. They won the regular season title every single year since joining the Big 12 Conference, except for last year when Oklahoma State was able to take it.
Jessica and I will be making the trek along with our producer, Mark Balk, over to Morgantown, as we'll be traveling there tomorrow for the Sunday game that kicks off at 1 p.m. Eastern. An opportunity here for the Red Raiders.
So much space here on this flank for Jen Rose. Kim Rodriguez has been there all day, though, on that right side. But set pieces, sometimes the difference in these close games. Both coaches mentioned set pieces as a key.
Charlotte Teeter, number 4, the freshman. Serves it to the top of the 18. Into traffic. Denisick. Floats it too high. And wide right. And a missed opportunity for Texas Tech.
Hey, if you keep giving it to them, you're going to have to work harder anyway.
Texas Tech has been to 5 straight NCAA championships. They won the Big 12 Soccer Championship, the tournament, back in 2015, and that's really given this program a lift. A lot of players have gone on to play professionally. Tom Stone talked about how that has really attracted a lot of attention to Lubbock, Texas. A lot of players coming when they see those players that have come through and gone on to play professionally.
And with the national teams. In fact, Janine Becky, who was in that final, is playing tonight with Canada in a World Cup qualifier.
And a push from behind by Texas Tech will give a free kick to J.C. Jones and a yellow card being issued. That on Jen Rose.
It wasn't tactical. It wasn't. We had 8 people behind the ball.
So Jen Rose did not start. Substitute in, came with the physical play from behind. Received a yellow card, a free kick now.
On that one player. You mean the dirty player? You mean the one that's
for Oklahoma State, that's Kim Rodriguez. She's got 3 goals and 5 assists on the year.
Good job.
And many of those assists are from these set pieces. She's taking the set pieces, and Oklahoma State's done well to get on these.
She was all Big 12 freshman team last year. Takes a start. Goes at it, serves ahead into the box. And right off the top of the hands of Zucchetto. And so a corner kick opportunity now for the Cowgirls.
Just a little bit misplayed in her hands there. I think maybe deciding whether or not to catch it. catch it or should I just let it go out? She wasn't quite sure maybe if she was on the side of that post, so she decided just to kind of play it and bobbled it there.
Corner kick for the Cowgirls. The header. And not able to get an attempt on goal for the Cowgirls. Good defense by Texas Tech.
Somebody stay.
Cowgirls still in this attacking third part of the field.
Maybe a late run.
Hannah Webb, number 5, with a throw-in. Woodard can't chase it down.
But this is the real key, is if we're not saying Woodard's name enough, then that's a problem for Oklahoma State. They need to be getting her the ball a lot more. Even if she has back to pressure, she can distribute, she can play make, and they're just not getting the ball up to her enough.
Well, especially with Zoller with the injury. We saw Marlo Zoller go down with the injury earlier in the period. And so right now, Woodard getting a lot of attention from that Texas Tech defense. Huddleston. Over to Jones. Woodard, there she is, but right at goalkeeper. Zucchetto with the save.
And that's what she brings. I mean, that's what goal scorers bring, is they look to shoot. That is their job, is to shoot the ball. So she's going to bring danger every time she's got the ball around that 18-yard box.
And a lot of pressure the Cowgirls putting on this Texas Tech defense here in the waning minutes of the first period. 2 minutes to go. They're at the top of the 18 again. Texas Tech able to steal the ball and gain possession.
Nice, Demi. Clear feet.
Davis chases it down.
Charlotte, stay in the middle. Demi, stay. Oh, no.
Good defense, but coming up a little lame. Elise Hahn, the junior. A minute and a half to go in the first period.
Easy, Jen! Easy, Jen! Out here, Jen! Out here, Jen! Chase the ball, Jen!
Webb plays it ahead. Back to Webb. They're looking for Woodard.
Let's keep
and
it, Jay.
Clean tackle by Texas Tech.
Cover, Elise! Keep going. Put it off. Elise!
A minute to go.
Elise!
In the first half.
Look at this nice clean tackle by Carly Wickenheiser, who was moved into the back by Coach Tom Stone out of that midfield. The senior has really been an important cog in that back line this year for Texas Tech.
Back it, Kimmy!
Denisick.
Go inside, Jen!
To Teeter.
30 seconds remaining in the first half.
The header ahead. And clearing it out. A throw in here. Quickly running over the sideline is Teeter to get it in play. Davis. The physical defense by the Cowgirls as the clock winds down here in the first period of play. Will Texas Tech get one more chance? Doesn't look like it. And we will go to half with no score. The Cowgirls and the Red Raiders still 0-0 here in Stillwater at Neil Patterson Stadium. We'll be back with a couple of features coming up at halftime. Don't leave.